Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. A few weeks ago, I was out yard sailing. I was making small talk with someone, and I often ask, do you have comic books? Usually the answer is no, but in one of these cases, the answer was yes. This gentleman said he had some comic books, but they were put away, they were buried somewhere. He'd have to dig them out, and he'd give me a call. Well, here I am a few weeks later. I just got to his house, and I'm going to go check out what he has. Let's go see what we can find. Wow. So are these all sets, each one of these? Like a little run?
Let me wash my hands.
Yeah, interesting.
Like I said, my father and brother, we got out of business school, out of high school, and they dropped out of college, so my father bought them a convenience store.
So you have like
February, March, April, May,
yeah, you got a good run there up to
June, July, and August. They weren't taking up a lot of space, but...
No, they're cool. No, I really appreciate it. So
I had them on in the back there, buried with all my hunting books and stuff like that.
Now you got a little bit of cash on the side too, so I really appreciate it. Mark, thanks a lot.
I'll blow that on Mom's tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Okay, yeah, so he had some comic books, not a lot, and as you guys saw in the footage, it was mostly little runs of Savage She-Hulk. Still a pretty cool character and a couple of cool books in there. I definitely gave him a fair offer. Let's go home and I'll show you everything that I got. So there you go. I just bought a small collection of comic books, which is pretty much exclusively Savage She-Hulk. I'm excited I found them, but I'm actually a little worried now that I paid a little too much. But first, I gotta tell you guys how I found these comic books, because I definitely got them in a strange and unusual manner. So a few weeks ago, I was out hunting at yard sales, and I always say this, guys, if you are ever at a yard sale and you see like superhero related things, or collectibles, or even stuff that looks like it came out of like a storage unit, it's worth asking that person if they have any comic books, because usually the answer is no, but you might be surprised and have the answer be yes. So I'm looking at this guy's stuff, and there are none of those things. There is nothing whatsoever that would indicate this guy had comic books or even liked comic books whatsoever. Come to find out, this is one of his several residencies, and this was more of like a hunting lodge. It was a really small place, lots of antlers, nothing comic book related. However, he was a really interesting guy, and we just started talking about stuff. In fact, I was interested in a copper lantern that he had because my grandfather was a coppersmith. We got to talking about things we're into, and then I just mentioned, hey, I'm actually a big collector of comic books. You wouldn't happen to have any of those, would you? As soon as I said that, he lit up, and he told me a story of how his dad had a convenience store in the 70s, but when his dad's store closed in the early 80s, they grabbed a lot of the stuff and brought it home, including all the comic books that were on the shelf. And he had them in his house somewhere, but put away. He had no idea where they were. So he said, yeah, absolutely, I could check them out, but he'd have to dig them out first, and then he would let me know. So we exchanged contact information. He told me to bug him like every week. He's like, just send me a text or call me just so I don't forget. So that's what I did. For like several weeks, we kind of played phone tag until I finally found a time to get over there after he found them. And then you guys saw pretty much the extent of it. They were all laid out right there on the table, and there were 3 Ziploc bags holding sort of mini runs of Savage She-Hulk. But of course, the top book in all of them was in fact She-Hulk #1. So let's talk about that book first, because I got 3 of them. So of course, this is the Savage She-Hulk #1 from 1979, written by Stan Lee actually, art by John Buscema, first appearance of Jennifer Walters, aka She-Hulk, one of the most prominent Marvel superheroines that there are, member of the Fantastic Four, member of the Avengers, a popular character in her own right, and of course she had her own television show recently on Disney+. Now, I like She-Hulk. I actually get a kick out of her. I really like Sensational She-Hulk. I used to read that series when I was a kid. I thought it was really funny. I like that she broke the fourth wall. I like She-Hulk. I absolutely do. So I was excited to see these 3 copies, but he also had a whole bunch of other books in the run after these. So we have 3 #1s, and then we have 2 #2s. We have 2 #3s. 2 #4s. We have 4 #5s. 2 #6s. And 1 #7. So we have 2 full sets of issues 1 through 6, and one of them that goes up to 7, and then a whole bunch of issues #5. There were some non-She-Hulks in there as well, not nearly as exciting. We have 3 copies of King Conan #1. from 1979 as well. Like I said, these were all, like, they came off the shelf when they closed the store. And then we have 2 issues of King Conan #2. So that was the extent of everything he had, or at least that he could find. I know when I met him the first time, he thought he had some Captain America. He was going to keep looking around, but he thinks this is all that he could find. Now, I want to talk about how much I paid for all of these, because I've said it many times on my channel in the past. I pride myself on always being honest. In fact, I'm honest to a fault. I always tell people what their comic books are worth, especially if they don't know, right? If they're not familiar with what comic books are worth, I always feel it's my duty to sort of educate them on what they have before I make an offer. And this was no exception. I walk into this guy's house and I see these 3 She-Hulk #1s on the counter, and I got excited because I already own this comic book. I have a preconceived notion of how much this comic's worth because I bought this comic book at the worst possible time. I bought it at the heights of the comic boom right before the TV show came out, and I paid over $100 for my copy. Granted, it's a higher grade copy than this, but still, in my mind, this was a pricier, first appearance key. So we look up the prices right there on my phone, eBay sold prices, and I was shocked by how much this book has fallen. I mean, we all know comic books have come down from the highs of the comic book boom, but this one is like bottomed out. I cannot believe how much this has come down. Mid-grade copies like this, we were seeing sold prices recently, $50, $40, even $30 a book. But as soon as I mentioned that to him, oh yeah, look, $40 a book, his eyes lit up. He couldn't believe it. Like I said, guys, he had no concept of how much these comic books were worth. He didn't read comic books. I probably could have got all of these for $10 if I wanted. And I had a great rapport with this guy. He's a really cool older guy. We found out we had family that knew each other. We grew up in the same street, small world kind of stuff. And I just wanted to make him happy. So I said $100. Hey guys, quick correction. I realized while I was editing this video that I misspoke here. I originally took out $100 and then I added another $20, reasoning that these were worth about $40 each and I wanted to pay him closer to fair market value. So I ended up paying him $120 for everything. He was floored. He was so appreciative, so happy, and I felt really, really good about that. Then he said he was actually going to visit his 90-year-old mother later, and he was going to buy her flowers, and he was going to use that money to buy flowers. I felt great, guys. So I go back to my car feeling like I did the right thing. And then I started thinking, I'm in the driveway, and I say, you know what? The thing with being honest, you got to be honest with everybody, including yourself. Because I was honest with how much these were worth, but I was not honest with how much I was willing to pay for them. See, I already own this book. I don't really want more copies of this book. The only reason I got these was because, I thought maybe I could trade or sell them and make some money, but mostly because he dug them out for me. He went through this whole effort to get them. We kind of played phone tag for a bit. I just wanted to make him happy. And I got these. And listen, guys, it's not a bad deal, obviously. If the nicer grade copy in here, maybe I could sell for $60 or group it with these, a whole set over here, a little run. And yeah, I could definitely get my money back. But if I was really being honest with myself, I would have been more comfortable with $20 each. And I could have just told him that. I could have said, hey, honestly, these are $40 each. I'd be willing to pay $20. And he probably would have been fine with that. But here I am, being honest, falling over myself to make someone happy. And I forgot to make myself happy. Obviously not a terrible deal. But I guess what I'm asking, I want one of you to tell me I got a good deal. I want someone out there to tell me I did the right thing. Here I am beating myself up over this. Maybe I got them for exactly what I should have paid, and I should be happy to get them a little bit lower than fair market value. Remember, guys, I don't have a lot of people to talk about comic books with. That's why you're here. In a lot of ways, you guys are like my comic book therapists. And actually, okay, comic therapists, I'm actually on the couch. Head on down to the comments and let me know what you think of all of this. Am I making a mountain out of a molehill? Did I actually get a good deal on these, paying slightly under fair market value? Or am I right? Did I just overpay for these, to make an old guy happy? Head on down to the comments, guys, and let me know which side of the fence you fall on. Also, while you're down there, let me know what you think of the She-Hulk character. I really like She-Hulk. I think she's pretty awesome. Although I've never read this series, I've read a lot of Sensational She-Hulk. I think it's really funny. And also, let me know what you think of the She-Hulk television show. For myself, I actually really liked it, mostly because I found it to be the most comic accurate Disney Plus show. Again, if you've read Sensational She-Hulk, you'll know exactly what I mean. But head on down in the comments and let me know. Hopefully this doesn't turn into a huge argument down there. But that's it. Thank you guys so much for being my comic therapist. Please don't charge me for the entire hour. In the meantime, I hope you keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places. Always ask people if they have comic books. You might just be surprised which ones say yes. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.